obviously you got your start doing free videos, you know, for whoever you could shoot a video for, right? How did you like, what was like the turning point that got you to that? Like, cause the thing is I think about the DSLR videos that I worked on, right? And then like to elevate as a director, producer to that like next cusp of like, can you even handle, because I just know a lot of video directors out there where you could give them $5,000 or you could give them $50,000 and you'll get the same video, you know? So like, how did you, what was the turning point there from like, maybe talk about a couple of the early videos you did and then that time where you like leveled up?
Dude, my mindset was always based on growth, and it was always based on reinvesting into yourself. I didn't make money off videos for the first, 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, because I was focused on being able to up my brand. And I was focused on reinvesting that money into making my next project look that much bigger. So when I'd approach an artist and say, yo, dude, I need $500 more so it can look like this, that $500 was equivalent to $5,000. And every time it was just the simple math of knowing that if I can, and especially knowing what those tools did or what that extra $1,000 would do, because I can get this toy and I can elevate it in this sense. I was just always focused on elevating my production value and making sure that my shit looked bigger than what I was spending the money on. So that by the time that I got to real budgets, I could then have a little bit more freedom and flexibility as far as like where I wanted to go with the piece and what my focus was. So it was always about reinvesting and not focused on, trying to get $1 at that point. It was about trying to stretch that dollar and make it 100, but for this on screen. The bigger money would come later. You know what I mean? Like you want to be focused on like what the big picture is here. And if you can't take yourself out of that small-minded mindset of just trying to make, or of trying to profit on something that small, then you'll never be able to get to that bigger level. You have to be able to dream and think about it in a business sense. And like, I think it just goes for all art though, because like you should never feel like entitled to because you think you're good. If you're a painter and you're like, I painted this and I think this is amazing, I deserve to make $1,500 off this. Well, why? What is the thing that's validating that? You need to create a brand, and you need to create perception behind that piece that makes it bigger than just paint on a canvas. And in order to like elevate that, like what is going to be your way in? And so I always thought about it from a business, and that's why I always branded my pieces with Colin Tilley Presents, and then directed by Colin Tilley or whatever it was, because I had to make something that was bigger than myself.
Right.
And that's a business, and that's something that is so much bigger. So then people start paying for the name over what the product is, in a sense. You know what I mean? And that's really, really important thing as far as being able to elevate.
Right.
Hope that answers.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm kind of looking for something even like a little more. I want you to be even a little more specific about like, or just like, what was that first kind of breakout video where you're like, wow, my foot's in the door, I'm like in the game.
For sure. I mean, and look, it's always, stepping stones, right? So, I mean, like the first video I did was for Niles from the Cataracts, and I did that for absolutely free. I borrowed a friend's camera. I went out and shot it. I learned how to edit off YouTube tutorials for Final Cut Pro. And then I went to the studio with him and I'm editing it. And then I meet I think it was Beta Weeda in there or Shady Nate or one of the really dope Bay Area rappers at the time. And I'm like, yo, I can shoot your video. And so then every time.
So did Niles convince you that you were going to be a good video director, or like how did that, like, were you like?
It was like a mutual thing, bro, because then right after that, me and Dave and him went out and shot Murder, She Wrote for the Cataracts. And like, then like David was putting like his thought process in on how things should look and feel and, thinking so left field. And I was able to take that mindset and apply it to like Bay Area rappers. And then all of a sudden, Bay Area rappers were like, hold on, this shit looks big for the $200, $500 I'm spending, and it's like a left field concept, or it's doing something that's different that we haven't seen or felt before. And then I remember the one that really basically kind of like, then I was doing stuff for Young L, like independent, like for just Young L. And then Lil B hit me, and Lil B was like, yo, let's go. And we did We Can Go Down. And now We Can Go Down was like a big moment because it was the first video, sounds funny, but to make it on the top of World Star. At the time,
Wow.
World Star was such a huge platform to where if you had a video on top of World Star, like, that means people were watching that shit. It would get a couple million views. And based off of We Can Go Down, Tyga saw it, and Tyga called me and was like, yo, let's work. I love that video you did for Lil B. It was different. So then I started working with Tyga, and, you know, we were doing stuff on the low. And shortly after that, Tyga called me with Chris Brown on the phone and was like, yo, we got to shoot Deuces.
Wow.
And dude, I did Deuces for $2,500. Like, no one knows that shit, but I did Deuces for $2,500. We shot No Bullshit for Chris Brown the night before for another $2,500. And it was just like, dude, this was the time of music videos, though. This is when nobody was spending anything.
Wow.
And so I got
that was that weird era, right, where it was like Chris Brown was a superstar, but then he was kind of doing this like rap mixtape with Tyga.
Bro, this is
industry was dead.
This is like the Jordan Tower days. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, this is like when like fools were like out there shooting fucking hood videos, and all of a sudden like all big artists were even doing these low budget videos because it was kind of the thing to do, right?
Right.
So like I said, I got in when the lottery ticket was low. And after I did this video for Chris Brown, Deuces, that basically was the first video of mine to really make it on TV and get awards and all this shit.
Wow.
And I basically went on a run with Chris from there, and I did his next 30-some videos from features to his own singles. And it was basically always a single bid. Like, Chris would be like, no, Colin has to do the video. And so that goes with the idea of relationships, man. I mean, relationships are, your network is your net worth, as they say. Right. And that's not, until the Chris Brown videos, that's when I actually like saw like my first like real check. You know, I was like, right. Oh shit, I'm on like a big video set right now. I have a techno crane, I have a full crew. Like, this is kind of a little over my head. But it was so dope because I was working with somebody like Chris that always had a big vision. And so that's why we did all these videos, and we really like made each other better. And then Chris started directing his own stuff. But I was so lucky to be able to work with somebody that had such a vision like that, you know, and like trusted me to go in there with my team and execute these ideas and like really add to his brand. And it was a beautiful thing.
Did you do any research about like when the production got significantly bigger? You mentioned like Techno Crane. When the production like was just like, let's say you got this crazy budget, and now it was like you got to figure out like how to put that in front of the camera. Like, did you just fake it till you made it, or did you like do your research? Did you study? Did you figure out? Because it's like, in order to get a look like that, you got to be able to like. That's what I always look for, and from the management side is like, can this director produce at this level? You know? Yeah.
Well, dude, I mean, it's about your team. I mean, I was very, very fortunate, and I was working with my producer, Andrew Listerman, at the time, and he was invested in me early on, and he saw that potential. And he had produced stuff for other big directors at the time, and he was just like, look, I think we can work together and make some great stuff. So at the same time that I was doing a lot of research and working on trying to get my brand up, he came in and we basically started collaborating, and that's how we started Riveting Entertainment. And so we basically just started rocking together, and I had somebody that was specializing in, you know, creating high budget productions and how to put more resources into the thing. So at the same time, both of our eyes were like, oh my gosh, look how we can make this even better and bigger. Look how we can make this better and bigger. It was never about how much money can we make off this motherfucker.
Right.
No, that was never it. It was like, how can we continue? We want to be known. We wanted to get it. Like, we wanted our art to be seen in on a big level. And when you find a team that has that same idea and isn't focused on an immediate dollar, then it can work. So what I would say to you know, young managers that are just starting out and trying to find, you know, with their artists, and they're trying to find, you know, younger directors to do it. It's like, do they have the team to support them? Because if they have a production team to support their vision, then all of a sudden they're going to be able to be beasts. You know, if they're already working with these resources, then you surround them with other people to help them enhance their vision. How's that going to work?
Right. Because the producer is the one that for people that don't know how music videos work, producers are the ones that kind of like tie it all together, right?
100%.
And they're the ones that kind of like can essentially itemize an idea, right? This is the idea, and they know this is the type of equipment we need, this is the type of lighting, etc.
Dude, they're the ones that will take your treatment and break it down in an Excel budget document and itemize it by budget and crew and everything that it needs, and that's what basically adds up to that, you know, overall budget. But you know, the thing is you also need to be, in order to be a good producer, you have to be extremely creative, because you aren't just like getting to throw around money. You have to be able to put your money in to places in order to maximize. You have to be a professional negotiator. You have to be able to, you know, go in and like, you know, really figure out how to make $1, $10.
Right.
And if you can do that across the line and make a $10,000 budget look like $100,000, then the next time you can go ask for a $20,000 budget because it'll look like $150,000. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, this dude's shooting $150,000 videos. That's what we got to pay him.
Right.
And it's like, that's what we did.
Yep.